Ooh,
All right, guys. So we're on podcast 42.
like your age.
Yep. I have coffee because we're actually recording in the morning this time. And it's actually a Saturday. And according to Chris, what do you got?
You've been sleeping your life away.
I've been
Rip
sleeping my
Van
life
Winkle.
away.
Rip
So
Van Winkle's been sick, so
we've been trying to record this for the past 3 days. And every time we make a day, I'm sleeping
Dave sleeps.
and I can't wake up. And we had plans to record today on Saturday because neither one of us are hunting because it's raining um, at 9 a.m. Well, I fell asleep on my couch again, and I hear my phone vibrating against the wall, and it's him calling me. He's like, "Where you at?" So it's 10 o'clock Saturday, and we're finally recording the podcast.
Finally,
I was in,
for all your viewing pleasure. There's
yeah,
Dave in the morning,
I'm sick,
and I got bags under my eyes.
right? I'm up
Tired.
every day at 4 or 5 o'clock anyway, but this isn't early, but today it's early.
No, but I stayed up last night after I talked you home from your drive home from your public land hunt,
Mm-hmm.
making sure you didn't fall asleep and die.
Yep.
I went up to camp, took a shower, and then I was wide awake again. So I watched a video. Uh, I was up till midnight.
Lucky
So
you.
I slept till 6 a.m. and then said, screw this, it's too early. So I went back to bed till 8.
Nice.
The rain on the roof sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need,
I'm getting over my cold. It's
yeah,
today. I think today's day 6.
he's got COVID.
I don't have no code,
He's
but
dying. Take the jab,
right.
get a shot.
Nope. We're gonna have to delete that out of this podcast. We're gonna get banned from Apple.
Why?
You
Because we
mentioned
got
COVID.
COVID.
You mentioned COVID.
Oh, they don't ban us.
Anyway, I did go hunting yesterday, and I have a topic that I want to talk about today briefly that refers to the October law again because we episode 41 was all about the October law, half
Hmm.
hour of it. Well, now this is a very specific story about it because I have a buck that I'm hunting, and I was like, you know what, we got to talk about this on the podcast, and you have no idea what I'm gonna talk about.
No, I don't. Hit me
All
with
right,
it.
all right.
Surprise
So,
me.
and this refers to everybody because it gives you a huge picture of what's going on. So I found a brand new public hunting land uh, back in August, and it's in Maryland. It's about 2 hours away from where I live. I'm not going to tell you where it's at, but I went out there and scouted it one time, and I hung 3 cameras. I was getting various bucks throughout the summer, does and stuff, in good areas. And where I set the cameras was two was on pinch points, and then the third one was kind of out in this little grassy area between two sets of timber. And to give you an idea, that property is 2,000 acres. It's 75% woods, 25% uh, a mix of early successional growth fields and ag. So keep that in mind. Now, I didn't start hunting this place until the last day of September. So today, like yesterday when I hunted it, it would have been the third day that I hunted it. Um, Now a buck showed up there around the end of September. A very, very good buck. It's probably got 13, 14-inch tines, G2s, split G2s. Very, very good buck. And I want this buck bad because I've never shot a deer that had such long tines on it. Well, he was coming one way past my camera at night, coming back the other way during the morning time, and it was all dark. So, in a typical person's setup, you would say, "Oh, that deer is nocturnal on my property." Well, you're talking 2,000 acres that deer could be, and it could even be off of there. It could be on private land. So, what I did was I looked at the map on aerial photo. And I was like, where is this buck going? Where he's got to be in there somewhere during daylight. So the last time I hunted down there, I moved my cameras. And 2 days later, I got this buck during the daytime. And if as a crow flies, he, where he's at now on my cameras in daylight is 0.72 miles away. So where he was the end of September, going past the camera one way at nighttime, the other way in the morning, he's now 3/4 of a mile away as a crow flies. So what I'm trying to say is, if somebody only has 40 acres to hunt on, and that deer is coming through there at nighttime, there's nothing you can do.
Oh, he's
He,
way far away in the daytime
he's
somewhere else.
somewhere far away.
Yeah,
So and it gives you the illusion that it's the October law and this deer is nocturnal. No,
right.
he's somewhere in the daylight. And if you had the ability to drift off of your 40 acres and go somewhere else and find this buck, you would see that he's daylight
He's
somewhere.
daylight. They daylight somewhere.
So, and that's what I did. I moved my cameras, I adjusted, I look at the maps, 3/4 of a mile away. I got him 3 times during daylight hours. Now it's just a matter of playing cat and mouse with him, like you said, and being there at the right time,
Yeah,
that he's coming through during the daylight. And it's a pinch point that I got him on, and it's closer to a bedding area. Um, and another thing I want to say about this is you could take 2 square miles, just reference 2 square miles, put deer inside of that two square miles, fence it off, trap those deer inside that 2 square miles. Within that 2 square miles, the habitat's going to be different. The lay of the land could be different. Thickness, thin, open areas, early sectional growth, could be acorns over this side. You place trail cameras all through that 2 square miles. Somewhere in that 2 square miles, those deer are going to be nocturnal. But somewhere in there, they're going to be daytime. You just have to figure it out. And the other part of this, again, is hunting season could start in September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Whenever the hunting season starts, you're going to see this
this
change,
decline of yeah
this decline. It doesn't matter if
decline
it's
of sightings in the
right.
area you're in.
Yep, we are in. The hunting season could start any month of the year, and you're going to start to see a decline.
Yep.
The second part to that is skip hunting season. Forget about hunting season. Deer are going to change their pattern if it's November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, September, October. Food sources change
Mhm.
always all season long. So why did that buck shift? Why was he 3/4 of a mile away?
He
And it,
adjusted.
he adjusted to, could have been somebody that was hunting him closer,
Could have been food.
could have been food, could have just been whatever his reason was. He moved,
Mhm.
and that's what's happening. But it doesn't matter if it's October, September, November, December. This same scenario would happen every single month of the year.
Yep.
Hopefully that makes sense to people. And you could call it the November law, December law,
Yeah. Really.
January
Yep.
law. I mean, you could have a name for it every single month.
I was just telling you before we came on the air that a very prominent YouTube celebrity just had a video called October Law, and watched the first couple minutes of it because I usually can't stand even the sound of his voice, but because the stuff he talks in circles and he's just very uh, influential on people. Whatever he says, people take as gospel. Well, he actually made a video about October Law and basically reiterated stuff that you just said. I mean, he was being honest with the people for once, and he said a lot of these states come in September and they experience the October Law in September. And then he said, "It's very real." And I thought, "Uh oh, where's he going with that?" And then his next sentence was, "It is real because the problem is you. You made the October law. Why?
Mhm.
Because you're in there checking trail cameras, you're putting scent down, you're in there invading territories. They see you, you bump them, they move on. Food sources change, bedding changes. There might be some early, believe it or not, there's some does that come in earlier than others. Even in the first couple of weeks of October, some are freakish and they come in early.
Mhm.
Uh, and I'm experiencing it here at my property where I'm hunting. I've got a big buck that came out the other night, and he checked all 15 does that were in the field, and he was chasing them around trying to. This one specific one, he had a lock on. He was after her. He ran her off the field. I
Was
mean,
it
she
a was it a smaller doe or a larger doe?
it was a larger doe, and those are the ones that usually come in first. And he was locked on her all night long, and he ran does in the field in front of me for an hour and a half. And I actually had a couple shot opportunities on him. I had him in my scrape at 18 yards. He walked by me at 20. I mean, it was very hard to pass. He was a hard pass, but I don't know. He's like number 4 on the hit list, so I was trying to hold out.
Mhm.
But as the season grows longer, if he keeps daylighting like this, and the other ones aren't, and I have an itchy trigger finger, it's gonna be hard. I may have to put an arrow in that guy. His body is a tank.
Yeah, I haven't seen a picture of him, but what you were talking about last night, he sounds big. Not
Yeah,
not not really antler wise, but
no,
body
yeah.
wise.
He's just
Um,
really mature. He's
yeah,
old.
man, he's
His
all deformed.
Yeah, he's got one side, and we were talking about this. And I don't
You
know what
said it
you.
looked. He said it looked like a salad fork.
The one side is a stump, and it comes off the top of the head, and it's about as thick as your wrist. And he's got a couple of points that stick up. And I said it looked like a salad fork. He's just forked on one side, and the other side's just a big old 8 point, well, 4 points. If he had both sides, I would
You
suspect
s-
he'd be a
you
big
said
eight.
you said he was gray.
He is. He's gray. He's gray muzzled, gray body, everything. Just a tank.
He gray like you,
Yeah, I just shaved, so I got rid of the gray. Unlike you, old guy.
right? I'm old today.
So, so yeah, I'm gonna probably pull some Tacticam cards and try to make a short video out of it or something, him chasing some does around. If my card reads this time, I had an incident this week.
Mhm.
Dave knows about it because I called him and like, what the flip? I tried to make a whole video in review of the first week of archery from all my Tacticam footage, and the first card I put in would not read. And it was the one that primarily did all my filming with for the week. It did not read, so I had to reformat the card, lose all my footage, and start all over.
It's unfortunate.
Was not happy, so I did not have a interweek video to do in addition to our weekly podcast.
Well, lesson learned. Never
Yeah,
keep your footage on SD cards. Always put it somewhere else as a secondary source.
yeah. I guess when you get it, you got to bring it home and unload it.
I used to, when I was really into filming hunts and stuff, I would collect for a few days. I'd take it right off that card, put it on a external hard drive, and I would save it.
Hmm.
That way, you have no issues because them cards are just finicky. They go bad all the time, and I've had issues where I couldn't get footage off of them, and I was screwed.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pull those today and import them into my Photos app and start doing a little editing for everybody's viewing pleasure.
Yeah,
You know, I won't say where the deer are at or anything in case any of my nosy neighbors are watching. Oh,
yeah.
but yeah,
You want to talk about that incident or no?
I, re- I don't know if I do or not. I mean,
That's fine.
let's just I'll just put it out there. If you guys are dealing with some neighbors, man, it's hard. It's hard, and the thing is, they're hunters too, and I don't know why they do this stuff.
It's
I had an incident this week where I was in a field hunting on the edge of a field over my food plots, and the neighbor guy decided to mow the adjoining lane to the property at 20 minutes to 7 at prime time.
and your car's parked there.
And my car was parked there, so he knew I was in there. And I talked to him before I went in, and he asked me if I was going in there. And I said, yeah. So I texted him, and we had a few words, and he said, "Oh, I forgot." So
Well,
thinking it may have been on purpose, thinking maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because they were drinking and say, "Hey, okay, I'll give you a pass this time." Maybe he did actually forget because he was drunk, but the things I deal with.
well, that's why I started mainly hunting years ago, solo. Just and because I was used to being clubs and different type of things, and it's anymore it's very competitive. So
Yeah.
and I used to share information of bucks and
Mhm.
hey, I got this buck and this buck, and the next thing you know, you got three of your best friends in there trying to go behind you to shoot it, and
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I
it's
had a
just
guy
it's just a competition.
before I moved here. So I'm talking back in my young 20s when we had a camp down the road here. I used to come up on the weekends and hunt an area, and I started taking a buddy in. Well, then I didn't shoot anything magnificent. I never even. As a matter of fact, I never even shot a buck there except for some spikes back before we had antler restrictions. And I shot some spikes in there, a couple does, and I guess he thought that was cat's meow. He wanted to be in there too while I wasn't. So while I was at work all week down in Pittsburgh, why he was here climbing my exact tree that I climb.
Hmm.
And I was coming up on weekends. I was getting blanked. I wasn't seeing any deer. And then coming down the tree the one night, I noticed the bark was all chinked up from a climber. And my climber was rubberized. It didn't mark the bark at all. So I figured it out one night. I was coming down a tree. I seen all the chink marks, and I'm like, somebody else is in here.
Yeah,
Well, then I went in the next weekend, and I seen this climbing stand coming down out of a tree about 80 yards in front of me, right before dark. I mean, it was prime time. The guy's climbing down. I'm like, why is this guy coming down at this time of day? He's been in the woods all day. Why would he come down at prime time? So packs up his stand, comes packing it across in front of me, and he looks up and he sees me like a deer in the headlights. I'm like, Fred. He's like, yeah. I said, what are you doing in here? He's like, oh, well, me, Joey, and his dad been hunting this all season. I'm like, really? Hmm, that's funny. I let it go. Didn't say nothing because he didn't know. He didn't know what was going on. His brother-in-law just brought him in there. Well,
right.
his brother-in-law was the one I was taking in there on the weekends. So yeah, that's why I went solo. And everybody's like, "Why you hunt by yourself all the time? Ain't that dangerous?" I'm like, "I'll take my chances."
Yeah, I mean, uh, when I go on public land, I always send TJ my location on my iPhone because you can track each other.
Hmm.
I always send him my location just because you never know. Because I'm always 95% of the time I'm hunting by myself.
Yeah,
Um,
but
I'd like to have.
TJ's a guy that doesn't go but a couple of days of rifle season with you,
Yeah, he's going with me at the end of November there.
and he don't go to public land with you and things. So it's a guy you can trust.
Yeah.
You know.
So, um, yeah, I always send somebody my location. I wish I, had somebody to hunt with, you know, that you could trust, but it's
Yeah.
hard. But we had that situation last year on public land when I shot that velvet buck.
Hmm.
It was a pretty good velvet buck, and I took it when we had to take it back to the parking lot, and I had like six people. Hey man, that thing's huge. Like, where'd you shoot that thing? I'm like, down the road. Where at? Well, down the road. Well, where? Like, where exactly did you shoot it? I'm like, why? Why do you want to know? It's not there no more.
It's
it's
dead.
it's dead.
Yeah, I never understood that. I
So
mean, maybe it left some siblings behind, or
yeah,
some
but
good
they could
some
be
good
anywhere.
genes. Yeah, they may have implanted some good genes during the rut or something, but yeah, it's going to be a couple years before they get big again. So why are
Yeah,
you worried about that?
right. Let's talk
Never
about
understood.
the second part of this,
Yeah,
and that's trail camera locations. It's actually a good topic to
yeah.
be kind of
Where
a,
do you want to put your trail cams to pattern for your next deer?
which is kind of what I just did.
Yeah,
So we can talk about that a little bit because it kind of refers to a little bit of a shift between where you had them and then
right.
where they need to go.
Hmm.
Um, so for me, what I did was my cameras originally on this public land. I'll talk about private too, but they were originally on the public. They were in a few pinch points, but they were in pinch points closer to the food sources. I moved them to direct 100% pinch points closer to remote areas and thick cover areas.
Yeah,
And that's where I got this buck on daylight.
that's. I was just gonna say that's where I tend to set my cameras for this time of year. I try to get close to bedding where they're headed back to after their morning or evening jaunts out exploring all night long, and hope to catch them coming back to bed in the morning or leaving bedding and going somewhere else for the evening. That's kind of where I like to set up a camera.
I'll share the buck if it'll come up there.
I mean, I
Let's
could see it, but
hold on.
can't really see antlers.
For the people watching, hard to tell, but he's got
Yeah, it's hard.
long tines, G2s. It's a 12 pointer,
Hmm.
and there it is.
Yeah, that's better.
That's a good public land buck, Maryland buck right there.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
um, but he's in daylight, so
Hmm.
keep going.
Yeah, so I mean, that's how I set up for deer. That's how I set up, and I'm getting those bear pictures. Uh, Main travel corridors, basically, is what I look for. Main corridors going back to bedding, not necessarily that one trail. You know, looking for that one buck, because I actually did that too this year. I put up a blind camera this year in this one spot because 2 years ago when I shot this buck back there over the river, the next day I went back because it overlapped with the archery bear season at the time, and I thought I just gutted that buck. I'll go back the next day and maybe hunt the same spot over top the gut pile. Maybe a bear will come in. Who knows? So I went back there the very next day, and man, I seen a couple whopper bucks out through the woods. I had to get the binos out and see them, but uh, I thought, wow, I want to set some cameras over there the next year or two, and check this area out. And so far, I was coming up empty, really, at this point. So I'm guessing those deer that I saw were just out cruising for the rut time, But I mean, it was good intel to see where they were coming from at that point in time of the year. So yeah, they didn't pan out this early season for pictures, but that's an area I might want to key in on later on. In a couple of
Hmm.
weeks here,
Yeah.
I might want to bounce in between where I was and where they were, and you know see if maybe I can catch one cruising there. It seemed to be quite a frequent flow of deer coming through there. As I was sitting in my stand, I could see them. It looked like they was all coming down through the same area,
Mhm.
cruising through there in a I don't know what it was, like in a 6-hour span of time. It was a morning hunt. I went in right after. I killed the buck before dark, and then the next morning I went in and hunted that stand again, and those deer were coming out in the morning. So anyhow, yeah, main corridors leading to and from bedding is
Mhm.
where I like to hang a stand because the public land that I'm hunting um,
How many acres is that over
is
there?
very thick. Um, the property itself that I have to walk through is 100, and I walk off of that 100 onto the state forest. So I
That's on that,
don't,
like, the state forest there, how many acres?
boy, I don't know,
Don't know.
thousands, thousands, and it wraps all along the river.
That's how this new place is. It's 2,000 acres, but it's
Hmm.
bordered by the Potomac,
Okay.
and, it's, it's pretty cool, pretty
See,
neat.
like almost all of the property joining the river is forest or conservancy, state owned, basically. So anywhere you can basically trace that river on both sides of the river is all state forest. So I walk off the top ridge. Like I said, the up on the flat on the very top of the mountain is privately owned, and it's 100 acres, and I walk off of it and drop over the edges towards the river, and that's where I primarily hunt because the animals don't seem to like lay around and stay up on the flat because there's a lot of pressure. People come in there and they're walking around all the time, so I go down over the edges, and that's where the deer and the bears seem to roam.
Nice.
And if they get bumped off the top, if they're up there by chance, up on a because there is a white oak flat up there. If they do happen to get bumped off, guess where they run? They run down over the ridges
Mhm.
and they come down towards the river. So that's why I hunt those areas. And it's thick enough that, like I said, they try to hit easily traveled corridor. And what it is tram roads. The place was timbered way back in the early 1900s, and there's still noticeable tram roads that have grown in. They're only like 4 or 5 feet wide, but that's what they run. They run right down these tram roads. I mean, and I was over there scouting around. And I told you this week I was over there scouting around, and I found all kind of bear crap, and it was on those tram roads.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, easy, least path of least resistance.
yeah, for sure. When they want to get somewhere quick, they know a good way.
Mhm.
You know,
Bears, any animal.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So that's
Yeah,
how
so
that's how I try to pattern them. Now on private land, of course, if I'm hunting private, that those usually contain food plots or whatever, and you can always just go along the edge of it. You could just take a walk along the edge of your fields. If you're not glassing them at night from a distance and seeing where they're coming out, you could always just walk the edge of the field and look, and you can see main travel uh, where they're entering and exiting the fields, and you can follow them trails a little ways back in the woods and set up a camera facing deeper, and you'll catch them coming.
mhm.
You can see which ones are coming from what direction. Now, as the rut time comes, though, it's more hard to pattern them in the rut because they're running ragged, man. They're running every direction, just
Yeah,
chasing anything. So you're not necessary. If you catch one on camera during a rut and you're going to say, "Oh, I'm going to hunt right there," you might be wasting your time.
yeah.
You
I
know,
usually
it's hard
stick
to
to
pinpoint.
yeah, I usually stick to just, like, pinch points during the rut or the deer.
Well, at rut time, you're better off just sticking to the trails that the does travel
Mhm.
normally, because where the does are, the bucks will be. So there's a little pointer there. I
Yeah, when
mean,
you're trying to hunt a field or something during a rut, I mean, that buck's gonna be
he's coming
I
from any direction.
anywhere, but if you hunt the pinch point leading to that field
Yep,
that he's
pinch
gonna
points,
use,
main trails,
you have a
travel
better chance.
corridor. Yep, tram
You know,
road,
hunt
anything,
hunt
anywhere that the does are running. That's where they're going to be coming from.
Yeah, hunting that field edge might give you a large view of what's
Yeah.
happening,
Hmm.
but the chances of you being able to get a bow shot are pretty slim. So if you stick
Yeah.
to, the pinch point leading to that, you have a better chance of getting something.
Yeah. Or like you said, like the main trail coming in and out,
Hmm.
because the does are either going to come in to feed there, and you might tow in a buck, or when they're getting chased, that's easy access out. The
Right.
exit plan,
Hmm.
exit stage right. Woo.
Right. Exactly.
Like we're gonna do.
Yeah. Let's
Exit
go.
stage right.
Well,
We out.
that's episode 42. So
42.
that's the October Law
October
continued
long.
and trail camera locations.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So I'm happy.
Yep.
All right.
So I'm less than 80 subs away from my 1,000 giveaway.
Nice.
So if guys are gonna come over and subscribe, get it in now. I'm probably what I'm gonna do is there's a local guy here that he gets a Kershaw knife and he can laser engrave the blade. So that's gonna be a giveaway I'm gonna have.
All right.
It'll be a city sticker one off YouTube 1,000 subscriber giveaway.
There you go. Go
Get
subscribe.
in,
Yeah.
subscribe, and get in.
Today's Saturday. You're
Hmm.
leaving to come to my house Wednesday.
Yes, I am. That's also my birthday. So remember,
Yep.
you got 3 days of shopping left for me, Dave.
Yep. Fine. That's fine. I'll give you some baby wipes.
Give me that flashlight.
All right. And I gotta look for that. And so we're headed down Sika hunting
Hmm.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, man,
So
we gonna stack them up.
hopefully
I
I
hope
think
we
we should
stack them up.
wait till next Sunday morning to record the podcast.
Hmm.
That way we can talk about our Sika hunt
Yeah, we could probably do that.
instead of, so this will release Sunday tomorrow. Wait till the following Sunday morning and record, and we can talk about our Sika hunt.
We could record it right at your house together before I leave to come home.
We
We
can.
could be on the same screen in the same room.
Yeah, we can do that. I got a couch right here. We can do that.
Yeah, yeah. We
Yeah,
could
that's
back the camera up, pan out, and we could sit on the couch and talk.
yeah. Sit right there, and we can back this bad boy up like that.
Yeah,
That's fine. We can do that. Good
we
idea.
could do that.
About
Cause
time you come up with something good.
I'm always coming up with stuff good.
All right.
Jeez.
All right, guys. We'll see you on Chris. You'll see me and Chris sitting right here on episode 43.
Yeah, hopefully with a cooler full of bags of meat.
Maybe. We'll see.
Let's see.
Later.
Bye.